Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you so much for your patience. I know we've been, working through our technical difficulties, but I really appreciate everyone being here. I mean, my father was an amazing man and loved by everyone who is here today, and we are just so grateful that everyone could come together to celebrate him today. So we have a lot of great memories to share, and we just want to make this a celebration of his life. As you were meditating with us, I just thought so much about my dad and how optimistic he was, how he was always excited to explore and do new things, how open minded he was. Even at the age of 80, owning his own business in Laughlin, Nevada. And I was just so excited to go there and just see everything that he created, and that he was never. Tired of learning. He was always excited to explore new things. And that's something that I'm always going to take with me as his daughter. And I feel like it's just instilled in me in a very, very spiritual way. We have together just an incredible glimpse of his life. And we are just so, so excited to present that to you right now.
My name is Andre Walker. I am the proud grandson of Eugene Simon Williams. I am inspired by my grandfather's extraordinary life and honored to share a piece of it with you now. Eugene Simon Williams, the son of Walter Williams and Teresa Starks, was born on February 19th, 1940, in St. Louis, Missouri. He peacefully transitioned on January 24th, 2021, in Laughlin, Nevada. Eugene was born naturally optimistic, always excited to learn, grow, help others, and contribute to a greater good. He graduated from high school in Detroit, Michigan, and enlisted in the Navy when he was just 17 years old. Throughout his time as a sailor, he served his country proudly while earning many accolades along the way. Eugene's time in the Navy took him across the world, serving in Guam, Japan, Cuba, and the Philippines, just to name a few. He was acknowledged for meritorious service during his time as a member of the submarine force aboard the USS Fulton, and was appointed as machinery repairman first class by the United States Navy. Eugene was honorably discharged after serving nearly 20 years in the Navy. At the time of his passing, Eugene was loved and respected across the Nevada and Arizona business communities for his work as a notary public and owner of Eugene Williams Consulting. A man of faith, Eugene believed in the power of positive thinking, meditation, and optimism. He found contentment through classical music as it gave him moments of bliss. My granddad's active participation within his church earned him the love and admiration of his fellow church members. Eugene was a proud father and would always talk about his kids. Through words and action, he showed his love and affection for his children and grandchildren alike. My grandfather is survived by his siblings Harriet, Gerald, and Deborah. Children: Big Anna, Little Anna, Christopher, Maria, and Jean. Wife Sandy, and dozens of loving grandchildren, nieces, nephews, and cousins. He will be remembered as a loving man, a selfless father, astute business owner, man of faith, and friend that you could always count on.
All right. I hope you all enjoyed that. Maybe you saw a few moments of you know how my dad was back in the day. A lot of those pictures made me think about our times growing up in Detroit, and all my cousins were really close, and we had Sheba and Sparky over there at Grandma's house, and it was just really, really great times, us being close that way. And I'm just so proud of everything that my dad has accomplished and how many lives he has touched. We're very, very grateful that his very good friend, who is also a thought minister, who will be leading this memorial service. Dr. Regina J. Decker is an ordained New Thought minister. She is a doctor of both metaphysical science and theocentric psychology. She is a founder of Authentic Living Ministries and a spiritual leader, mentor of the Authentic Living Self Mastery Circle in Laughlin, Nevada. She's known my dad for many, many years. They actually went to church together back in 1995, and by chance, they reconnected in Laughlin, Nevada, and started a study group there that was really spearheaded, initiated by my father. So we are so thrilled to have her here today to lead us in prayer, Dr. Regina J. Decker.
I don't know about all of you, but seeing that really touches that place within all of us where we feel the love for each other. And I agree, Maria. Your dad was an amazing human being. He was so motivated. He was spiritually motivated, and he continued to grow and learn and do whatever it took to move along his journey of life. And he, as being spiritually motivated, he was very much believed in daily affirmations. Whatever he wanted to accomplish, he always brought those affirmations out. Like, I will have a successful business, or I am prosperous, or whatever it is that he had on his mind. As you know, Maria mentioned it, that he was just pivotal in this study group that we started in Laughlin from a mutual vision that we had, unbeknownst to each other. And he was just an amazing force behind making that happen. Basically, I think I just had to show up. He wanted a spiritual leader, and I said yes, and he did the rest. And I will be eternally grateful for that. And he believed so strongly in life and in God and his spirituality. And he continued always to want to evolve in whatever way he could. And I believe he did that up to the very end. He believed that life was eternal. And so I know, as I mentioned in the prayer, that he is present with us right now. But one of the things I want to say to you that has always stayed with, and maybe he's already mentioned it to the family, but one of the things that his favorite song about his spiritual journey was about going with the flow. And he always said to us, remember that song, row, row, row your boat gently down the stream? He mentioned that all the time. And that's how he lived his life, gently, but focused and knowing what it is he wanted. And he was passionate about everything he did. I know when he was starting his different businesses, whatever part that he was at, he would always share that with us, whether it be a flyer of a community he started in Laughlin, or of course the other businesses he had. And of course, all of you know that up to the end, I mean, he was 80 years old, and, and he still had this passion and this joy about what he created in his business. I mean, most people at 80, aren't starting new businesses. They're like done, but not Gene, not Gene. He was always thinking about something new, and he was very progressive in how he accomplished that. I mean, he would start here. Okay, well, maybe I need to tweak this here. Maybe that isn't going to work after all. So I'm going to go here. And he just kept moving and moving until he was at the peak of what he was doing. And I know my husband, Don, and I were just always so amazed and inspired by him. So, and I know I've already heard that. All of you know he was an inspiration, and he will continue to be. I know our study group in Laughlin will always remember him, but not only the study group, he was a pivotal member of the community. He did a lot for the church in Lake Havasu, helped set their website up and their Facebook page. And he also did a lot of works for the Unity Church in Bullhead City. And he gave so much of himself to make everyone successful in what they're doing. And he did that for whether it be church related or community related. He was a giver. He believed in being in service to everyone. That's where his joy was. He would light up. Like I remember years ago when we were in the church in Covina, California, and he was a very participative member of the men's group. Well, he took that and he created a men's group at the Unity Church in Bullhead City, and he just was so excited about that. So he just always had this vision. He had a vision of just living life to the fullest, just living it to the fullest. So, as far as a community, also, he was very inclusive, meaning that he joined different groups in the communities. And there was one group he decided not to be a part of any longer because they only wanted people to do things like in Laughlin. Well, if you know Gene, he wasn't going to just stand for that. He what do you mean I can only do it here? I'm not, that is not me. So he handled or he worked the tri-states, Bullhead City, Laughlin, uh, Lake Havasu, Arizona, wherever he was called, he would do it. And if he wasn't called, he would make the call. He was one of those movers and shakers, even though he was a quiet man and he was focused. He was here with a purpose. I mean, he was here on purpose, and everything he did was on purpose. And I know that one of his greatest purpose too was his family. He loved his family. I know that he made yearly trips. I believe it was around Thanksgiving or so. He and Sandra would go and visit his daughter's family and the grandkids, and that was all part of who he was. And I say, looking at all the pictures and all that he has done, I mean, he was in the Navy. Again, he was in service. And so I think um, he is inspiring all of us to remember that in our togetherness, we're encouraged to be in service in whatever way. It doesn't have to be grandiose, but it has to be something that we're passionate about, something that can make a difference. Gene made a difference. Gene made a difference in my life. I know he made a difference in Don's life. He supported Cameron Broadcasting with advertising dollars and whatever he could do to make that work where he felt needed. So there wasn't anything that he couldn't do. If he felt there was a need, he would do it. So I think he will continue to inspire us all. I don't, even though he's not with us, but I believe he's with us in spirit. I know I cannot continue to do our group in Laughlin without always remembering who helped me to put that together. I mean, I remember having that vision years ago when I first moved to Laughlin, and I didn't really know how I was going to do it. And little did I know, Gene had the same vision, but he did something about it. He called somebody at Lake Havasu, the church over there, and he said, I'm looking for a spiritual leader. Well, at the time, I was a guest minister over there. So I got the email. And at first, I didn't know who this gentleman was until I kept seeing the name Eugene Williams. And then it occurred to me it's somebody that I knew. I've known for years, but we lost contact. And so once we got started, he engaged everybody. His wife, Sandra, even helped do a lot of it. And I also am grateful for her. She was a fantastic host. and made sure everybody got fed. I mean, if you know Sandra, you know she likes to cook, and so and Jean liked to eat. We all like to eat. So I just want us to remember just the kind of man he was, a man of integrity as well. I mean, if he says he's going to do something, and if he doesn't know how to do it, he will figure out a way. That's what he did for us. He figured out a way. I mean, he had ways of doing things that I would have thought of. And I know many of you have stories like that. And I know I will be hearing some of those. But I just wanted, and I'm honored to say a few words about him, the impact he had on everybody here in the tri-state area. And even I am in California right now, and the people here in California miss him greatly as well. The minister here said to me that she always enjoyed Gene. You know, he was always doing something or wanted to suggest these different things for how the church can, you know, do great things. And that was Gene. So wherever he is, I know that he's doing something great. He's encouraging, he's inspiring. So I thank you for this opportunity to say a few words about the impact Gene had on me and my husband, the community. I know that if they were all allowed to speak, they'd have nothing but accolades for this man. So thank you so much. And I look forward to hearing all the other stories of this beautiful soul, as I call him. And I know he's rowing that boat gently down the stream. Namaste.
Thank you so much for that, Dr. Decker. I mean, that was just so encouraging to hear just how much my dad has impacted people, especially, you know, for my family members that are here. You know, you see one side of a person, and to know that their influence and their love goes beyond family and in different communities, whether it's in the church community or the business community. Your words were very, very encouraging, and I really appreciate that. And speaking of family, you know, going to Laughlin and just kind of gathering up dad's things, you know, family was just such a big deal for my dad. And he had pictures of everyone. He had pictures of his siblings. He had pictures of all of my cousins. He had pictures of my cousins' kids, of his grandkids. I mean, it was just so much family and so much love inside of his things, and you could just really tell what was important to him. You know, before we go into this reflection video, I just wanted to share a few reflections of my own. You know, one thing that you hit on, Dr. Decker, was just about how passionate he was, how he was a giver. And I just see so many things about my dad that I just kind of gravitate to, and things that I just was unaware of. You know, a funny thing is, you know, my dad was very passionate about helping others, but he was always looking for every opportunity in terms of growing his business. And when I went over to Eugene Williams Consulting, you know, I knew he was a notary public, but I met Miss Betty there, who was his office assistant, and she was explaining all of the services that he offered. And she said, well, you know, he has a Wi-Fi connection, and, you know, everyone in the building pays him to use the Wi-Fi. And I'm like, okay, daddy, get your hustle on. And then she said, and I looked behind his desk, and there were all of these business licenses there. And I'm like, who are all these businesses? He was like, oh, well, those people don't have offices, so they pay your dad to hang their certificate in his office. And it just tickled me so, because, you know, I'm an entrepreneur as well. And it's exactly how my mind works. I'm like, I'm gonna sell some t-shirts, I'm gonna sell a fitness program. And it's not just about, you know, growing a business financially, but just really taking advantage of all the opportunities that life has to offer. I remember when I was little, and he took me into Toys R Us. And I remember being like so like low to the ground. I was really little. And I remember filling up my basket. It was just me and my dad. And he said, buy whatever you want. I remember when he was teaching me how to drive a stick shift, and he was holding on for dear life. I mean, holding on for dear life. And, he probably got whiplash a couple of times, but we just have so many um, great memories together, and a lot of people have been calling me and just kind of asking me, how I've been doing. And, I tell people, I miss my dad physically, but, to just reiterate what you said, Dr. Decker, I know he's here, and I'm so grateful for the connections that I have with my family, the new connection I have with you, the connections that I have with his Laughlin business community, because I just see so much of my dad and his life in all of these people. And I'm so honored and privileged to continue his legacy of love and of service, making the most out of life, rowing my boat gently down the stream, and just making the most of everything that life has to offer. So I'm just so grateful that he chose me to be his daughter. We do have some more reflections from a few other family members and friends that we would like to share right now.
To the best dad in the world, I will always live in the sunshine of your life. I will never forget being on the open road, windows down, and blasting classical music as we go on our way to our latest weekend adventure. Spending time with you at the movies or a weekend at Disneyland, I knew I would have the best time being with you. Thank you for taking me to my Little League games and Cub Scout meetings on Friday nights. Your work ethic is a huge trait that I will always keep. I'm so proud of the many ways you provided for the family. From selling vacuum cleaners, working at a computer store, and seeing you wear your many polo shirts from the gas company uniform. I'm grateful to have such a generous dad, helping me get a car after my graduation, making sure I was okay in college, sending me money, and sending me the occasional texts and calls. You always loved me and all of your kids. I know you are at peace, guiding us to be strong and successful. Your purpose in life was to keep going and keep moving. You taught me to keep doing my best while at the same time caring for your family. I'm so grateful to have so many wonderful memories with you. I'm so proud to call you my dad. I love you, and I will always be thinking of you. I love you.
My family asked me to say a few words in memory of my Uncle Eugene. And while it was not very difficult to search for the words, it was difficult to just put them together in a meaningful way. My uncle was a man that created fond memories in me from a small boy. It wasn't the large displays or at milestones in my life that he displayed these things. It was the small things that he did constantly. You see, he would, when we interacted, he would always bring a smile to my face, because one of the things that he did was he was a good listener. He would ask questions to engage me, even as a small boy, to find out what my goals were, what I was doing, what was going on with my life. And that continued on until later on in life. Those meaningful interactions really showed the type of man that he was. It takes me back to the time when I was a small boy. He would travel because of his occupation in the Navy. And these travels would take him all over the world. But he always found an opportunity to bring those memories or create new memories when he came back. He would bring small gifts from the place that he had visited. And it meant a lot to me, because the fact that he would think about me that way, to try to touch my life in a meaningful way. And it showed me some wonderful qualities, that it doesn't have to be great big displays or expensive things, but thoughtfulness and kindness. Those were things that I learned from him. And so while I think about the memories that I have, I often think about those things, how he touched my life. We didn't talk often, but the times that we did talk were important, because those are the memories that help me deal with the pain of loss. And no doubt those are the memories that help you. It reminds me of a Bible scripture that paints a nice picture of how valuable a good name is. Proverbs 22:1 says, "A good name is to be chosen rather than great wealth." Now think about that for a moment. To have a good name with neighbor and with friends and with family was more important than accumulating material wealth or being rich. My uncle was rich when it came to his relationships, because he impacted people in a meaningful way. So those are the things that help me get through those memories that were created. And hopefully it'll help you get through this tough time as well.
Hello, my name is James Collins. I am Eugene's son-in-law. I've actually never called him Eugene. I always call him Dad. When I first met him, I called him Mr. Williams. But he's always been Dad. And I'm going to really miss talking to him. We were close. I would call him often, and we would get a chance to speak about all kinds of things. I loved listening to his stories. You know, I would just prod and ask, things just in the hopes that he would tell me something new that I hadn't heard. He's had so much life, his time in the Navy, his time living in the Philippines and in Japan and in Cuba, and just all of these lifetimes, working as a teacher, in junior colleges and stuff. I mean, he's had so much life, and he's so sharp and brilliant. It was an honor to sit at his feet and just have him give me that insight. And then even fast forwarding to modern day, it was like when he would talk about the things going on in his life. I mean, he's an avid tech guy, and I love tech. And, in the end, he would always just his eyes would get big when he talked about new ways of applying technology to his business and ways it would grow. It was like he was always thinking of these new and awesome ideas. And they were really good ideas. I mean, a lot of times, we would compare notes, and he would be telling me things that social media could do that I wasn't aware, and things that, some of the back end of the computer servers, features that they were able to do that I wasn't aware of. And, he's just a brilliant man, very, very brilliant man. And it was an honor to be able to sit with him and call him family and experience the time that, we would have together. I do really and truly love him, and I'm going to miss him. And, I promise that, we're just going to keep his memory alive in our household and raise our children with a firm memory of his legacy and all that he's contributed. I'm going to miss you. I love you.
I cherish the memories that I have of my big brother. You don't know, this is a real life-changing event for me as well. I remember this, sounds kind of corny, but I had a little doll made out of cloth. Loved that doll. And I think it was Herschel or one of his friends took my doll and put it face down in some dog doo-doo. And I saw it and started crying. I cried my eyes out. That was my favorite, probably my only little doll. And Eugene went and took the water hose and washed all of the washed the stuff off of the doll and laid it in the sun. It was still dirty, but I was so happy he had did that for me. I got a little poem. It's a prose, rather. The Lord made us family. Miles can't keep us apart. Time can't make us forget. Troubles can't put away our hope and our pride. We go on praying, we go on dreaming, we go on living with peace and courage in our hearts, and we make this world a better place for all generations to come.
Morning, I'm Carl Walborn. I'm the maintenance man for the complex that Eugene Williams used to have his office in. Every morning I'd come in and I'd open the door and I'd look in and say, "How are we doing today?" And he'd say, "Oh, I'm peachy." Some mornings he'd tell me that he was extra peachy, but then I'd sit down and we would sit and talk for probably 10 to 15 minutes, and we would talk from anything from his military service to jobs that he had as a vacuum cleaner salesperson. He was a machinist in the Navy. We talked about we talked about things in the present, things that he was planning on doing. He told me that he had a bucket list, and boy, he wanted to do that bucket list. So he was a great guy, and I can't say enough for him. I mean, there's very few people in my life that I call a friend, and he was one of them. So, I'm not much on talking, so the only thing I can really say that I know for sure is the man loved his family. He was a great veteran, and he was a man of God. Thank you.
My name's Betty Walborn, and I worked with Eugene Williams in his office here, and I really enjoyed my time working there. And Eugene was always saying, "Now Betty, you ask me as many questions as you want." And he was always there with an answer. He always encouraged me. And I was never taking up his time. And as time went on, he was just busier with his notaries, and he wanted me to get my notary license. And I said, "Really?" So I did, and I do enjoy it. And as time went on with that, then he said he wanted to get me my NSA for loan docs and refis. And I did, and I do miss him because right now it's hard for me to get through one of them, but I know it's getting better each time. I want to do this for him. I want to make him proud. And we just had a lot of good talks about faith and family and different subjects. And I know he had a lot of things that he wanted to do, but he would always talk about his kids and how proud he was of them and how much he loved them. And so I guess I just want to say, Eugene, I'm just grateful, I'm humbled, I miss you, I love you, and you don't have to be busy as a bee anymore. So I'm really, happy for that. And to you kids and the rest of the family, we just thought the world of your dad. So thank you very much. Bye.
Miss Jeannie, and I opened my business here at the plaza right across from Eugene's office a few years ago. I'm at such a loss without Eugene, and seeing his name is a blessing still each day. It does not go out of my mind or my heart. And to his family, I wish you all wonderful memories for the many years to come of Eugene. He was a good man, good to other people, and always loved to see people succeeding and doing good. He was such a help to me here in Laughlin when we first came here. I lost my mother at the same time that Eugene went into the hospital for the same reasons. And I know your pain, but I know memories, and with Eugene, positive thoughts, love, doing good deeds. These are the things that Eugene left behind to those of us that spent our days with him. God bless Eugene, I love you and miss you terribly, and I will always remember.
Eric, Liggy, all should be thankful for the love that your mom and dad has given, shown you guys throughout the years. Especially AJ, they come up to your college and spend the weekend with you sometime. That's what I really think I like a lot about being thankful for that. I'm thankful for that every Liggy, AJ, Eric, and James, you all got a piece of me, a piece of James, a piece of your mom inside you, and it's always going to be there for forever and ever. It's going to be there, and I'm grateful for that too. And I'm grateful for your mom and your dad's success. Met at the hospital. He knew me. He knew my name. I hadn't seen this guy in over 20 years. He still remembered me and remembered my name, and I didn't know.
You couldn't remember who he was. You just played him. You said, "Oh yeah, yeah. You had that hat on. I remember."
Thank you so much to everyone who sent in those beautiful reflections. And I just hope it touched everyone uh, who's watching right now. And I know we have so many other family members, and just looking at your faces while that played, I can tell that many of you were reflecting on a moment, close friends, family members who are on. And again, we'll always remember my dad and honor his life and his legacy. So thank you so much for that. We want to showcase Dr. Regina Decker now for a closing prayer.
I don't know about all of you, but our hearts are full, right, of this beautiful soul. And so I want to close out this prayer. And so if you would close your eyes, or however you wish to join me in honor of this beautiful man. And so I know that in this presence of love, we have all been impacted by this beautiful man, this beautiful soul who has enriched our lives. And so I know as we move from this day, his memory will live on within each one of our hearts and our minds. I know that we will continue to be inspired. And I also know that we will see him again, and he knows, until we meet again. And so as we recognize the beauty and the love that Gene was and continues to be, we follow in his footsteps, knowing that life is meant to be lived, knowing that as he believed that whatever we choose to do or dream of doing, that it is possible. He lived in infinite possibilities. We embrace that. We embrace the very life that we all shared with him. We embrace the family and the friends in great love. We embrace the idea that as time moves forward, they will continue to feel the presence of his love in their hearts, in all that they say, do, and think. For I recognize that once someone has touched our lives, they never leave. And for this, we are grateful. And so let us, in our own way, simply say, until we meet again, Jean, go in peace. And in gratitude, I give thanks for the opportunity for all of us to have been and shared this magnificent time together, where we have felt the love and the joy and the laughter, as we saw through the videos, of this beautiful man. I know he is at peace, and he has felt the love as we has felt his love. And so in grace, we continue to live as he would have wanted us to continue to live and thrive in life. And so I simply release these words into the creative medium he understood to be the spiritual laws that manifest all that we desire. And so it is. Amen. God bless you all.
Thank you so much, Dr. Decker. James, can you go ahead and thank you? So thank you again, Dr. Regina Decker. We really appreciate your words of encouragement. We all just are full of love right now, and I'm so grateful personally for all of you who have come here to celebrate my dad's life. I know there are so many people here who did not get to share a reflection. So the website is mylovingdad.com. There is an area where you can leave your thoughts, your memories, your reflections for my dad. And we will also have a copy of the recording available at mylovingdad.com. So thank you all for coming out. God bless you all, and have a great evening.